Hello Fifth, it's the Poo Guru again. I am continuing my story about me, about who is the Poo Guru. So I've talked about my first dwelling and my second dwelling and everything that I can remember about it. I'm going to move on to what I think is my third dwelling. I think I might incorporate my third and fourth one in this one because the timelines are, I can't remember which one's which. Ladies and gentlemen, I've tried to block out a lot of this because I don't want to remember all this crap. But you know, in order for you to understand who I am and why I am the way I am today, I have to tell this story. Otherwise, you're not going to get all the information, and you, I don't feel like, are going to completely understand me. Now, do you have to understand me? No. It's your choice, if you want to or not. But once I get this series out of the way, that's when the heavy shit's going to start. So you might think this is rough right now, me telling this story, and you know, listening to how I grew up and whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, that ain't nothing. That ain't even scratching the fucking surface of just how fucked up this world really is. Now, did I have a bad childhood? Compared to some people, no. Compared to other people, it was fucking horrible. But it has helped make me who I am today, so I'm going to tell this story. Now, that I've spent all this time on that tangent, let's go to houses 3 and 4. I think number 3 was what we called the Roach Motel. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was actually a place that we nicknamed the Roach Motel. And at this point in my life, this would be the second time that I've lived in this particular location. To my knowledge, several years ago, this place was condemned. Let's go from there. So, the Roach Motel was, I think, 8 different apartments in this particular building. And this place was nasty. There was one particular apartment on the first floor of this building. It was a 2-story building. They had I think it was a chow dog that lived under their porch, and if you got within 10 feet of where that dog was living, you got covered in fleas and God knows what else. So yeah, and there was a girl living there that was in my grade. She was just as nasty as the rest of them. I didn't hang around with her very much. That whole family was just disgusting. And about the only memories that I really have of that is, at that point, we had another dog. And I remember we didn't have the money to take it to the vet because we were still on welfare at this point. And it sucked. We didn't have any money. We couldn't do anything, but pretty sure that had to do with Mom's choices. Yeah. So, yeah, we had a dog. We couldn't take it to the vet, so it got sick. I don't know what it had, but I remember basically watching it die. And I was less than 10 years old, I believe. And just sitting there, just watching it shit and puke its fucking brains out. And I mean, just having a miserable time of it. And this probably lasted 2 to 3 days. It makes me angry. I don't like to see anything suffer. And if I had known what I know now, I would have done something to put the dog out of his misery. No living creature should have to suffer like that. I don't know what the fuck my mom was thinking. Another fucking dog. Hell, she can't hardly feed us, much less another dog. Anyway, so the only other real good memory, clear memory that I have of that place is we were there during Christmas time, and I remember getting Christmas gifts from somebody, and it was just a bunch of generic stuff, and I knew it was cheap, and I knew they didn't know who I was whenever they bought it for me or whatever, because I think this was just like a donation thing. You know, people would donate and whatever, and somebody said, okay, this kid needs some presents. All right, so all right, here's some little boy presents. All right, give it to him. I don't even remember what I had, except for there was a book or two in there. I read them, and there was like a pair of sweatpant pajamas or something other. I don't know if they were pajamas or if they're just like sweats, pants and a sweater type thing. I wore the shit out of them, and I don't remember how long we actually stayed there. Like I said, I tried to block a lot of this shit out. It's just stuff that I don't want to remember, and probably once I make these videos, I'll probably never talk about this again. I'll just tell you to go watch the damn videos and get out of my face. So I guess we moved out of there, got kicked out, which I think that was kind of the way it was going. We kept getting kicked out because Mom couldn't pay the bills. She didn't have any money. She didn't work. She was on welfare, food stamps, the whole 9 yards, you know. Medicaid, which Medicaid at that time, you know, is different than what it is now. So is welfare, you know, so is food stamps. It was all totally different back then. And I mean, the Medicaid was a good thing because we lived in shitholes, and I kept getting sick. I stayed sick. Not by choice. She'd always take me to the fucking doctor, and they would always pump me full of fucking drugs, and I'd get better for a little while, and then that process would start over again. So we're going to move on to house number 4, I guess. Now this particular place was next door to the lady that owned it. The landlord lived next door, and this lady had cats. Her cats had cats. Okay, her cats kept cats as pets. That's how many cats she had. So this house that she owned was kind of run down a little bit, needed a little bit of work. So the middle brother that was still living with us and my mom, I tried to help as best I could. We were like, all right, so we'll fix up the house a little bit in exchange for rent. That worked out for a little while. It was across from the elementary school at the time too, so I was already out of that school and all going to school way across town, so it didn't do me a damn bit of good except for I could go over there and play on the playground equipment and stuff and be active like a little kid should and whatnot. Let's see. We had a neighbor across the street, a little side street, not the main street. And there was a girl, she lived with her grandma. And she was about a year older than I was, but I look back at it, her house was just as filthy as ours. And she stayed sick too. always had some kind of respiratory stuff going on, snot and shit coming out of her nose. Yeah. Inside of her house was just disgusting. And it makes sense why she was sick. It really does. It makes sense to me. You live in filth, you're going to stay sick. Inside that house, I don't know why it happened, but one of the back rooms, I guess we'd kept a dog in there or something. I don't know what it was, but I walked into that back room one time and I just got covered in fleas. Ladies and gentlemen, it makes my head hurt to think about this kind of stuff and just the nastiness that I used to live in. In that same house, I remember entertaining myself one time with one of those really bouncy balls. You walk in the front door and you had two doors off to the side, and maybe, I don't remember exactly how it was laid out, but I think there was two doors off to the side and like a wall in front. And I mean, the room was probably a 6 foot wide by about 3 foot wide, or 6 foot long by about 3 foot wide. I took the bouncy ball and I'd get inside that little room and I'd close all the doors and I'd just bounce the living shit out of it for, I don't know, an hour or two, and just finally get tired of it, or it hit me in the head and I'd get mad or something other. Mom would tell me to stop because she was trying to sleep in the middle of the day because she didn't do anything. I remember reconnecting, so to speak, with the girl from the projects, the one that lived down the road from us, that we kind of grew up with. Her mom was real good friends with my mom, and my mom didn't give a shit what the hell I was doing or where the hell I was going, pretty much, just as long as I check in every now and again. Well, me and the neighbor girl and the other girl from the hood, we'd go out there and we'd play in the playground and stuff, and we experimented a little bit with, you know, being boys and girls. No, I didn't lose my virginity. We just experimented, you know, whatever. We preteens. Shit, I don't even think I was 10 yet. Maybe I was. I was close to 10. But that's not when I lost my virginity. So that's later on down the road. And for whatever reason, my mother and the cat lady landlord got into a fight over something. I have absolutely no idea what. And we got kicked out of that house. So, house number 3 and 4, that's pretty much the gist of it. Shithole after shithole. That's all I gotta say about that. Poo Guru signing off.